In this video, we're going to look at dividing decimals, and we'll start with the area model. So notice in the media lesson, we have 3 problems here, okay, and all of them use 12 and 3 as our dividend and divisor, but we vary where the decimal points may be. So we can start off, we'll start with a whole number example. 12 divided by 3, so how many copies of 3 are in 12, which we know is 4. Draw a picture. Now we have 1.2 divided by 0.3, or how many copies of 3/10 are in 1 and 2/10. Okay. And this is easy to see if we draw. I'm going to draw this, shade this in yellow just so we could see the groupings better, because that orange can be too dark. Okay. So they can start by drawing 1 and 2/10, and then I'm just going to draw lines along the bottom to partition into 3/10. So here's one group of 3/10, 2 groups, 3 groups, and these together would make 4 groups of 3/10, or 4 copies of 3/10. Now this is an old PowerPoint. We actually took this out because this lesson was really long. But rewrite the problem using a common unit fraction. And this is a great idea to include if you have time. Okay, so notice how many copies of 3/10 are in 1 and 2/10, and that 1 and 2/10 makes it a little bit difficult to visualize this part. But if they look at this and they see it's 12/10, so 1.2 is 12/10, and 12/10 divided by 3/10. So we said in the fraction section, if we have a common denominator, we can just divide the numerators and the denominator. So 12 divided by 3 is 4, 10 divided by 10 is 1, or 12 copies of 1/10 divided by 3 copies of 1/10 is 4. Okay, so basically when we have this common unit fraction, we can basically divide the numerators. Okay, and again, this is to connect the idea of place value. Okay, and if you think if we were going to divide this using long division, 1.2 divided by 0.3, what we actually do is we move the decimal place of the divisor until we have a whole number. We do the same with the dividend, whatever we did to the divisor, and notice we just multiplied them each by 10, okay, which is similar to giving them a denominator of 10 and just focusing on the numerators. And then looking at the next one, we have 12 hundredths and 3 hundredths. So if we have 12 hundredths, our copies of language would be how many copies of 3 hundredths are in 12 hundredths. Okay, so our unit is a small hundredth square, and you're just going to count every 3. There's 1 copy, 2, 3, 4 copies. Okay, and then again, doing these with the same numbers and varying decimal places help them see the patterns. And then we'll have them divide decimals using place value, and by that we mean not drawing the grids, but noticing that you can see again we use the same numbers again to look for patterns. We move the decimal places. Our goal to make this one, the divisor, an integer or whole number, and we move the same amount of places and divide. Okay, so again, notice we only have tenths and hundredths and whole numbers. Anything more than this you can do on a calculator. And then something you know is important It's so frustrating when they don't know how to do this or they put this in their calculator, multiplying and dividing decimals by powers of 10. So basically we want to show them the patterns that multiplying by 10 moves a decimal to the right by whatever power of 10 we have, and dividing moves the decimal point to the left. Here is dividing. Okay, so these are especially important to cover. Again, it will later connect to scientific notation in their science classes, and getting them to see our place value system in base 10 as just moving decimal places. And then we have them do decimal operations on the calculator, so things again that you probably wouldn't want to do by hand. Okay, we'll have them do on the calculator. Some of these things you probably want them to do this by hand, 0.1 squared. Okay, but just for them to know how to do these on the calculator, because we know that later on in their more advanced courses that's more than likely how they'll do these. Okay. And then we just have a couple of applications for them to look at. Okay, so that concludes Unit 9, and I'll see you guys for the next set of videos.